Today I'm looking at the Google Nexus 7 tablet, and I'm asking specifically whether this tablet would be useful for me if I wanted to read books in a slightly larger font than the fonts that you normally get as standard on an ebook. I'm also going to look at whether, if I needed slightly larger menus and slightly larger fonts on the screen for navigating around the tablet, whether I'd be able to do that. So here we go. So the first thing I need to do when I want to use it is to switch the tablet on, which I do by pushing a button at the top right side. And that takes me to a screen with a lock icon on it. So that might be the first challenge for someone who can't see that icon very clearly. If I don't do anything immediately, it seems to switch itself back off, which again you wouldn't always be able to spot if you didn't have perfect vision. So there's that icon. To unlock it, I need to slide to the unlock option at the bottom, which again might not be self-evident for everyone. Now fortunately I can change this. So I can change this by going to the options in the tablet. So if I go to settings and then within settings go to the security options, I can switch the screen lock off and set it to none. There we go, and that should now get rid of that screen when I start it up. Let's just check that. So push the button to switch it on, and I don't get any screen lock on it, so that makes it a lot easier. Now there is a book on here that I will open by pressing the icon. There we go. And once I'm in the book, I've actually already changed the font on this one because it's relatively large, as you will see. Once I'm in the book, I can change font size. So changing anything here has to be by using the touchscreen. There are no buttons on the front of the device. So I choose the book by pressing an icon, and then if I want to change the font size, I need to call up that option at the top. And that gives me a little menu at the bottom where I can choose from a series of typefaces. I'm going to go for a serif typeface, and it also allows me to change the font size by pressing down or pressing up. So that's a smaller font size. I'm going to see what maximum size I can get to with this book. It's relatively cumbersome doing this. It doesn't respond as quickly as you would maybe expect. Also holding it down doesn't do anything. You need to tap it time and time again. So I seem to have So that's a very large font now, which might be useful for quite a few people. To get rid of that screen, I need to tap the book in any place, and then to go to the next page, I just swipe, and that allows me to read. So that gives you an idea of the different how to make the fonts in a book slightly bigger. Now, one thing you might have noticed is that when you are in the library of books, on your bookshelf as it were, the icons and the text next to them is relatively small. So some people might want to enlarge that a bit, and that's possible. You go to settings on the device, you then find accessibility within those, and then you can opt for large text. So large text seems to mean that the menus you come across, the text that you get on the screen is slightly larger. There you go. So this is slightly larger now than it was before. Now that I've got my book in a larger font, I might want to auto-rotate the screen to make sure that I don't have very few words on a line, but slightly more words on a line, which some people find easier to read. So let's see whether we can find anything in the accessibility settings. So I go back to settings, go to accessibility. So I go to settings, I go to accessibility within those, and auto rotate screen is one of the options which I've now switched on. So via the home screen, back into my book and see what it does. So if I turn the screen, yes, it does flip it sideways. You get a landscape rather than a portrait view. So it now displays 2 pages, but this doesn't display the 1 page in landscape, which is what I was hoping for. So I get my page here and then the next page there. So it doesn't really give you that much benefit. So I'm going back to normal. And the device knows I've gone back to portrait viewing, and that's what it gives me. Another aspect that I'm of course interested in now that I've got this tablet is the question of how to get more books onto my bookshelf. So for that I need to be connected to Wi-Fi so that I can use Google Play, which is where you can find additional books. So I go to my library, and you'll see now that I'm connected to Wi-Fi, the Google Play option is there. And that takes me to the Google Play Store, where I get a whole range of content available, including some cheaper deals. If I click on one of those, I can even get a free sample. So that's now downloading onto my tablet. And when I finish looking at the free sample, I can either buy it or just leave it. Because I still have the accessibility settings on large text, everything I get offered here in the Google Play Store, all the information is slightly larger text than it would be when I was just reading it in the normal setting. So it's not overly big, but it's slightly larger than standard. Now the process of buying a book, once you've chosen them, is relatively straightforward. You either ask for a free sample, you click on the price, you click on the screen where you need to accept and buy, continue, and it asks you to put in your payment details. The payment details can be saved into the system. If you feel a bit daunted by this part of the process, you can always, of course, ask someone else to put the books onto the device for you.